Hi, my name is Drew, and if we haven't met before, welcome to ReadyBudgetGo. If it's not your first time visiting my channel, welcome back. I'm glad you're here either way. It is not Friday, it is Saturday this week, and it's time for the weekly reel. This is the video I put out at the end of each week where I share my real income, my real bills, my real expenses, my real savings, my real triumphs, and my real mistakes. This week I am a day late because just work, my regular 9 to 5 job has been incredibly busy, and I didn't get a chance to film this video on Thursday night for upload Friday morning like I usually do. So you're getting it a day late, but I guarantee I'm not $1 short. This is going to be one of my longer check-ins because I need to close July and start in August. And when the end of the month falls on a Friday, which is when my budget week starts, it makes things kind of screwy. Essentially, I feel like I'm budgeting 2 weeks at the same time because most of the August days for my wallet spending were put into July, but for the check register and things like that, that I do by the calendar month. So a little hard to deal with, but it only happens a couple times a year. So let's get started with talking about my goals because I am trying to make sure that I do this at the start of each weekly reel video so that I keep these goals front and center because I hit a lot of them this year and I want to hit a lot more next year. So I have completed all of these goals. So seeding my business, emergency fund, the big move, contributing my full amount to the Roth IRA for 2026, and fully funding my blip fund, which is like just a little pot of money that I use in case an unexpected expense pops up. So now what I'm working on is stockpiling $7,500 toward my 2027 Roth IRA. And I made the first transfer to savings toward that this week. So those are my goals, and let's see how the week finished. So we're going to start in the July budget because, like I was saying earlier, when the last day of the month falls on a Friday, that means that the next 6 days after that all pull into that month because my budget weeks run from Friday through Thursday. So anything that you see in any of these sheets that is highlighted in green is something from this last week. I get paid on the 15th and the last day of the month, which meant that the 31st was a payday for me. I did get a bigger check than what I was expecting, and that is because my quarterly bonus came through. I will just say that the quarterly bonus gross was over $1,200, and I was able to keep less than half that. Part of that is because of taxes, of course, like we all pay, and the other part of it is because I am catching up to try to hit my max contribution into my workplace 401k this year. So as a consequence of that, anytime I get any additional pay, whether it's a bonus or like a quarterly bonus, a spot bonus, a promo, anything like that, I get to keep a pretty small portion of it. But I'm glad I got it, don't get me wrong. That money came in clutch this month, and I will explain why a little bit later. So the only other thing that I need to fill out here is the weekly spending, and I totaled, let's see, I didn't total it. I wrote it all down, so it's here. We'll come back to that. I think we'll just go through kind of in order here. Cash allocation I usually don't look at past the start of the month, except if I am working on multiple goals and I need to keep in mind what goes where. So this was last month's. Cash flow tracker, this is essentially the check register that I alluded to earlier. So the only transactions from the end of July were my paycheck and my cell phone reimbursement. Both of those came through. So I need to take the starting balance, add in what I took in, subtract what I spent out, and that should get me to the ending balance. This was as of July 31st. I just wrote it in there at the end of the day and knew that I was going to come back and reconcile on camera. So let's do that now. And I should have had this in the center. I apologize. You're probably all looking over to the right. But now we've got Irma, or Irma Gerd, for those who don't know, and I'm actually going to switch sides here because I do use an adding machine or a calculator with my right hand typically. And let's also get out Magna. This is Magna Carta, my magnetic pen, super satisfying. So we started, well, actually, let's add up this first. So 26, 55, 63, 32, 32, 74, and a hundo is $5,988.37. That's what I took in. And then on the minus side, in the minus column, we have 1080, 295, 736, 4765, 704, 723.37, 2722, 1730, 2548, 1553.56, 706, and 354 for a total of $5,977.53. So now I need to add these together and then subtract this to see if it matches that. So let's cross our fingers and hope that's what happens here. So 4581.74 plus 5988.37 plus 5977.53 minus $4,592.58. Hooray! So it balances. So that is all I need to do here. Let me stick this back in the binder. And then let's talk about those monthly expenses. I will bring this into the center so it's easier to see. So a few transactions this week. I went to Maria's on the 31st. That's a specialty grocery store, $14.18. On the 1st, I contributed to somebody's YouTube. I just sent them $25 through YouTube. Somebody that I follow, not in the budgeting community, who is going through a really difficult time right now. I would say who, but I kind of don't want to share others' business. So suffice it to say, somebody that I know, and I had this bonus come in, so and the rent was low, so I had the extra cash and I just sent it to her. DoorDash, $36.76, Kroger, $74.67, and then Factor, this is for this week's meals that I paid last week, $141.68, and a DoorDash, $15.26. So these two DoorDashes here, well, this DoorDash and Kroger, which was also DoorDash, for about $100. That is because, well, that's partially because Factor didn't come in when I thought it was going to. I thought it was going to come in on Saturday. It actually delivers on Sunday. So I had kind of an extra day to go and find food. So that was the DoorDash. And then the Kroger was just supplemental groceries for the week. So I don't get breakfast from Factor, so I needed that. Some fresh veggies, popcorn, other things like that. So that was the $74.67. And then again, Factor for next week or for this week, $141.68. That is for 7 days worth of food, and that includes delivery. And then DoorDash, this was on the 5th, which was Wednesday? I can't remember. Whatever day it was, I just needed a Happy Meal to start the day. So that was actually a DoorDash from McDonald's with some much needed coffee. So let's total those up, and then let's add those into the budget overview so that I can start closing out July. So I'll just do this left-handed since it's not that many of them. So that was 14, 18, 25, 36, 76, 74, 67, 141, 68, and 15, 26. Okay, $307.55 on a budget of $200. That's going to hurt. But it's okay. There are worse months that could have happened. So first, let me write it in here. I need to switch over to the Sarah Samarkand, which is a no smudge pen. So $307.55. So for those who don't know, if you use these pens, not only do they not smudge when you use a highlighter, but they also don't make your highlighter smudge. So we'll highlight that in green, and then it's going to be time to get the final verdict on July. Okay. So let's add these up. I can switch over to this pen now. So we have 307.55, and we also need to add 358.15, 177.41, 285.71, and 234, plus 0.45. So $1,363.27. So I am over budget by more than 36%. I did real well there. 1,363.27. So I should have had a remainder of 125. Let's see how that actually shook out. So we had 59.87 income, 1230 bills, 1363.27 spending, 402 stockpiles, and 2800 extra savings, $191.73. So higher than what I predicted, and that is partially, I'm sorry, I keep moving the sheet around. That is partially because the bonus came in, and it's partially because the rent was significantly lower. Two things affected that. Number one, I got a reimbursement of the $599 or $699 or whatever it was, the application fee. That came back to me. That was after 60 days of tenancy. That was in the agreement, so that came in. And they also didn't bill me for utilities again. And let's put a pin in that because that's going to be important for August, but let's finish closing out July 1st. So I need to keep this sheet out and then flip over to the month-end review. Switch sides here again so I can fill this out. So total income was projected at $63.36. It was actually $59.87. So $63.36, $59.87. So the difference is $349. And the reason is because increase 401k and bonus. Okay, total bills 2011, and they were actually $1,230. Difference of $781. And that was because of the rent reimbursement and no utilities. Okay, primarily. All right. Wallet spending should have been $1,000, was actually $1,363.27. Difference of $363.27. That was just overspent and factor. If you're new or if you haven't been watching the last few weekly check-ins, I started getting meals from Factor because I don't have time to cook right now. This week at my 9-to-5 job, I have put in 60 hours so far, and I will be working this weekend. I think most people know, I think most people have had to grind, especially those of us in the budget community. And that's just kind of the way it is right now. So I am on salary, so I won't get any overtime for that, but all of this work that I'm doing should show up in my year-end bonus. I expect to be rewarded for that. So it's just kind of the nature of the beast. Stockpiles should have been 400. They were 402. Difference of $2. Savings 2,800 came in bang on target. Nothing there. Extra debt payments. I don't have any debt, so nothing there. Total remainder 125 was actually 191.73. Difference of $66.73. So I took some notes here, and my handwriting kind of went off to the side. Bills largely on target except rent, lower due to the rent credit that I talked about earlier. What needs improvement? Weekly spending needs an increase. And I've done that for August. I may need to do it again in September. We'll see. And stockpile spending should deduct from stockpiles, wipe out in July due to Prime Day. So that refers to things like that YouTube, payment that, well, I call it a payment, but it was kind of a donation. I don't know what you want to call it, to that other YouTuber That would have normally come out of a stockpile, but I just cash flowed it because I knew bills were down and income was kind of up. I mean, income still came in lower than what I had projected at the start of the month, but I did get the bonus, so I decided to just share it that way, and I have no regrets. So that is it for July, but we're not done yet. So I need to pop this back in, and then pop this in at the front. Although I don't know why I'm doing that. I actually need to pull all of this out so I can move it to the end. So let me do that here. I'll take all the July pages out and sheave them together. And then I go to the end of this section. So this should be June. Yes. And then July just slides right in here. And I keep all of my old budgets for 1 year so that when I do my July 2027 budget, I can look back on what happened this year and use that to inform my budget for, again, July 2027. So, this section is pretty thick. It starts with, I don't know why that is in here. Oh, because this is, I see. So this should start with September. Yeah, there we go. We've got September 2025 here, and that's what I will be using to do my September budget. Look at all these bills from last year. A lot of these I don't have anymore. So a lot of these are medical, but I also have subscriptions that I'm not paying for, bus that I don't pay for. This is billed together, so that's combined. Renter's insurance I paid the whole year. So yeah, this Affirm loan, I paid that off forever ago. So it's a significantly smaller number of bills that I do now than I did before. So let's look at the August budget. Again, anything highlighted in green, which is everything that has a transaction here, is what came in this week. So no income yet, because I just got paid at the end of July, so paycheck 1 will not come in until August 15th, or really the 14th, because the 15th is on a Saturday, so I'll get paid the day before. Rent and utilities, I had budgeted $1,850, came in at $1,782. So we were once again not given the bill at the start of the month. We were billed only for rent and trash. The water sewer bill was not there, and the electric bill was not there. I have been in this apartment in Ohio since the 1st of May, and I have received one bill, and it was for 19 days. The property management said they were getting rid of that service provider and we would be billed directly. So I've been waiting since June to get that bill. We didn't get one in June, then we didn't get one in July, then we didn't get one in August. So then what happened is this last week we were sent a separate bill for the utilities for the first month, which, who the heck knows? It's so confusing. But that was $73, well, $72 and change, which I rounded up to 73, and then I had to pay another convenience fee on top of that for $3 to use the portal. So it's just stupid. But it is what it is. And coincidentally, it came out to within $10 of where I thought I would be anyway, so whatever. Stockpiles started off with 102 because I needed a couple of extra bucks for that first week. I went over by a little bit, which is totally fine. And savings was on target at 450, so that is what I contributed. Moving on. Oh, sorry. Before we move on, I did increase my weekly allotment here to 250. Like I say, I might need to do that again in September. We'll see how August goes. I should have left myself a bigger remainder, but we'll see. Okay. Cash allocation. Oh, I screwed up. I put this into the Roth, but it wasn't supposed to go there. This was supposed to go into stockpiles, so I will need to fix that. That's okay. That's no big deal. Okay, cash flow tracker. So I need to write in that beginning balance from July, which was or the ending balance from July. 45.92.58. Funky looking 5 there, but it's okay. All right. So far this month, I have paid 3 credit cards. Then I took cash out of the ATM. I did use a bank that is not my own. So here where I live in Ohio, the bank that I used in Washington has branches, but they are not near me. And in order to get there, I either need to walk a mile and a half both ways, or take transit. Now, the transit here, the way it works is you pay per trip until you hit the daily max. So this $6 that I paid that's almost the same as the cost of transit. And then I have to, use the time and everything like that. My time is worth more, so I just paid the fee. Once everything kind of settles down with getting my financial life established here, I probably will use my credit union account and just do that, because this was a credit union ATM. So rent $17.79. That includes trash, and then paid that stupid $2.95 fee for an ACH, which costs them nothing, but whatever. Another credit card payment, and then that savings transfer, which should not have gone to the Roth, so I will fix that at some point this week. I'm not going to do it right now, but I will fix that. Okay. Monthly expenses, nothing yet, because this is the first week of August for me. Like I said, all those transactions from last week or this past week that were technically in August, they all went into July. And then the month-end review. Okay. So savings, I don't think I have anything to talk about. Emergency fund, fully funded. Blip fund, fully funded, as always. Roth IRA is done, and I was telling myself I needed to print out another one, but now I don't, because, let me flip back to that, because I'm not working on this goal yet. I am working on those stockpiles, the reason being that some of those I will need before the end of the year, or coming up soon. So things like credit card annual fees and subscriptions, annual subscriptions, things like that. So that is what I'm going to work on. That is what I'm going to work toward. But that is it. That is all that I have to share for this week. So this, like I said, has been one of my longer videos, but there was a lot to do and a lot to cover. I thank you for tuning in and for staying with me all the way to the end. If you enjoyed the video, and if you're still here, I'm assuming you did, please leave me a thumbs up, subscribe, drop a comment down below, and until I see you in the next one, which should be game night on Monday, take care.